Can you transform your carry into a tank with the help of Stoneplate? Is the rumor true that Thresh doesn't deal any damage to CC immune targets? And is Tahm Kench the ultimate counter to Jhin? Welcome to episode number 8 of the TFT Mythbuster series for set 10. Let's get started. First up, let's take a look at the Augment Long Distance Pulse, also known as LDP. This Augment has been around for a while now, yet it never failed to have some pretty weird interactions. The first myth states, LDP will snapshot every stat when a unit dies. As you know, the Augment will share armor, MR, attack damage and ability power between the two furthest units on your board. But what exactly happens when one of these units is taken out? There are a lot of scaling items, so the question comes up if an item like Archangel would reset, make a snapshot, or keep scaling. For this test, we will be using a total of 3 stone plates. Here we have a Lilia 1-star isolated in the front line to maximize the value she gets from each stone plate. Ahri is currently the furthest unit in the corner, which means that they will be sharing a part of their stats during the fight. Most of the enemy team starts focusing Lilia, putting Ahri at a total of 150 armor and MR at the start of the fight. This number quickly shifts depending on the amount of units that are focusing Lilia. After Lilia is taken out, we can see that Ahri still has 138 armor and MR, and this number does not change. So the game does in fact snapshot the stats of a unit when it dies. This fact has some interesting implications. Obviously this makes items like Titan's Resolve super useful in combination with LDP, but it can also mean the opposite. For example, in this fight, the enemy Caitlyn has a Last Whisper, and you can immediately see how Ahri has less armor than before. Once Lilia dies, the snapshot will take the Last Whisper reduction into consideration, and the reduced armor stays until the end. Unfortunately, you cannot reduce armor below 0 anymore, otherwise I totally would have looked into that. Anyways, I think it's fair to say this myth is confirmed. For our next myth, let's take a look at Thresh, because apparently his ability might have an unfortunate counter. The myth states, Thresh deals no damage to CC immune targets. Just as a refresher, when Thresh casts, he will stun the largest group of nearby enemies, dealing magic damage and healing himself for a flat amount and 50% of the damage dealt. Normally, his damage isn't really a topic worth talking about, unless of course you manage to hit Thresh 3-star. He deals a whopping 1200 magic damage to every target hit and is therefore also healing himself by a much larger amount. In this fight we have a simple setup with Thresh 1-star against Olaf, who has a Quicksilver. When Thresh ults, you can see that he is dealing no magic damage whatsoever. He still heals himself for the 250 base of his ability, so at least that part is still working. The real problem of this interaction can be shown in this fight, where Thresh 3-star is up against a Twitch comp that is running 2 Quicksilvers. This is literally a red comp. He ends up wasting a lot of time because his kit simply doesn't allow him to deal with the enemy backline. So the next time you're facing an enemy Thresh 3-star, try to get your hands on a Quicksilver, because this myth is confirmed. For our final myth, let's take a look at Tahm Kench. This guy is definitely having a good time right now, because he is not only beating PvE stages, he is also a much more popular choice thanks to the craftable country emblem. His passive allows him to reduce incoming damage, but how does this interact with Jhin? The myth states, every Jhin violin gets reduced by Tahm's passive. As you should know by now, Jhin can spawn a bunch of violins on your bench and he starts conducting them once he reaches a minimum of 4. But the question does come up, how is his damage calculated? Is everything combined and contributed to Jhin? Or is everything calculated individually? In this fight, we have a Jhin with a Shojin and a Bloodthirster facing a crown-guarded Tahm Kench. After the shield is broken, Tahm Kench reduces enemy damage by 27. Each rifle is supposed to deal 79 physical damage. Since Tahm has 60 armor, the remaining damage for each rifle should be around 22. We can see how Jin's damage jumps from 123 to 212 after Tahm Kench is struck by every violin. So the 4 violins combined are therefore dealing 89 damage, which is around 22 each. I do have to apologize for the math lesson, but in this case it was a necessary evil for this interaction. While I'm never 100% confident in my own math, I do feel confident in saying that this myth is also confirmed. 3 more myths down and many more to go. With the upcoming set 3.5, you can also expect more Mythbuster videos about the set revival, since there is likely a ton of new stuff to discover. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope you learned something, and see you next time.